All right, so
I have to give you a little bit of credit for this.
And we can overdub it later. Just so
I haven't had any crazy stories about. Oh wait, no, I do. I got robbed at gunpoint, mugged.
Checking for me, but I ain't checking for them. No.
Sleazy real estate guys. But
All right, so another episode of the EP podcast here. We're coming back to you with another home team episode. We're going to be covering a wide range of topics, including business, politics, world events, and just anything really across the board that has been going on recently. Before I do that, if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, and turn off the notification bell for many more episodes to come. Arthur, joining me today once again. For I don't know how many times now, but that's because you're the co-host, so you're a regular here. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm all right, just hanging out. You know, it took us a while to set up. There was a lot of fires to put today. Today is May 23rd. There was a lot of rain that happened this morning, an outage at my house that took up the whole morning, and then the internet was out all day. That just got fixed literally probably a couple hours ago. It's now 11 o'clock in the evening. This is probably one of our latest recordings yet, but here we are. We stuck it out. And we're here to give you the latest news. So why don't we do that? What's going on in your life? Everything go with you?
Same old.
Same old in the past month? Not a bad thing, not a bad thing. All right, so we have a wide range of topics, right? Just to give you an idea of what some of them are, we have things like that you probably may have already heard of it, but not directly from us, so we could give you our take. Things like T-Mobile raising their prices on older plans. Things like Planet Fitness raising their membership plans. We got also the P. Diddy hotel footage that got leaked recently. And another random topic such as like best countries for work-life balance. But, you know, so much more with that. So, Arthur, where do we want to start with first? What are you in the mover? Is there anyone specifically, any specific topic that starts you off that you're interested in to go into?
Might as well start off with price increases.
Okay, that makes sense. So how about we go with an easy one that literally I think just happened yesterday? The T-Mobile one raising prices on older plans. Did you hear about this?
I did.
So I received a text message, I think yesterday morning, late morning, saying from T-Mobile saying that for the first time in I think now I don't know how many decades, they're going to increase their plans rates on different amounts, but just across different rates. And I just thought to myself, not another price increase on another freaking plan. I kid you not. It took me probably like a couple minutes to go to Instagram and start whining about it already. It literally housing, freaking food, gas, insurance, and now my phone I have to pay for more that I can't even use because it just keeps like the internet keeps going to crap and all that stuff. But what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I find it interesting that they're increasing their prices when their competitors have been constantly decreasing their prices over the past several years. So now we're getting to the point that they're almost the same price as their competitors, but I don't think their service is there. So this could be a pretty bad move for them.
Yeah, and literally not too long ago, I want to say less than 2 years ago, they stopped allowing auto-enroll payments with credit cards. And then they wanted to stop because of quote unquote credit card fees,
yeah.
right? So now they're avoiding that fee, which means more money in their pocket. And I get inflation and everything happens, but now they're increasing their pockets even more. Now I don't know if you could argue the ratio argument, you know, dollar for dollar type of thing, but still, you know, still sucks at the end of the day for the consumer because life becomes more expensive overall. So that's with T-Mobile. And did you have anything else on T-Mobile?
Nope.
So with another price increase, you know how we spoke about one of the things that people spend what's it called most money on was gym subscriptions.
Waste most money on
Gym subscriptions. Well, Planet Fitness is going to be raising their $10 membership now to $15 a month. And the good thing about it is if you already have the $10 membership, it's not going to change. But this will change for new customers coming this September. So we have that price increase going on as well. What do you think?
I mean, prices do need to go up, but it's nice that they're taking into account the members that they already have. So they're going to incentivize people to remain a member at the reduced rate, because if you leave, then you come back, you'll be at a increased rate. So at least they're doing it for new members, and they're allowing their current members to be grandfathered into the plan.
Do you think this is something T-Mobile should have done?
It probably should have been something they should have considered, because again, if pricing wise, if you're almost the same price as your competitors and your competitors offer better service, what's the advantage to choosing you?
Okay. Yeah, no, so now I'm hurting from my phone plan and my Planet Fitness plan, right? So, well, not necessarily Planet Fitness, but, now I'm less into, now if I decide I want to leave Planet Fitness, now I'm more hesitant to, because I know if I ever want to go back to it, I'm paying an additional $5. So now, even from an existing membership perspective, it's concerning for that reason too, because I like to shop around. I want to see what new gyms are in the area and all that stuff like that. So we had those two price increases.
So the good news is that Target's decreasing their prices.
Yeah. Yeah, to adjust that, Target's decreasing the prices. I think I saw the article the other day that they decreased the prices on 5,000 of their items.
Yes, they did.
To help consumers out with all the price increases that are happening. So,
well, did you dig into that further?
I don't think I really had to, because I know people that went into go to Target regularly and they just went crazy about it. They were thinking oh yeah, I think I might go to Target tonight, literally the same day of the article. But what did you find?
They may be decreasing their prices on 5,000 items, but they're not doing it by a lot. First two items that came up was 80 cents decrease and a 20 cents decrease. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to help people in the long run.
So do you think it was one of those things to just make it sound pretty?
It sounds like it's more of
a brand thing.
Yep.
Ah, wow. Okay. Well, I'm not a Target customer. Well, I am, through another party, but I'm more of a Costco guy. And I think I saw somewhere, not just on a tangent here, I think I saw that one, because recently, I think it was the closing, because I think didn't one of the exchanges close at the highest prices that has ever happened. I think it was the S&P.
Dow Jones.
The Dow. Is Costco in that? Costco, no, because Dow is tech, right?
Dow Jones is 75. It's
yeah.
But it's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I mean, it's heavy. I believe it's heavier on tech, but it is a little bit of everything.
But what I was getting at is that Costco, had closed at an all-time high in comparison to hundreds of other companies. So I was excited for them. But I guess because I know a lot of people that do Target and they have that 5% discount because they have that membership, I sometimes take advantage of that. So there's that to go. Do you shop at Target at all?
Not that frequently.
Do you know anybody that does, personally, that you benefit out of?
I know people that go there, but I mean, it's not like die-hard Target shoppers that are out there that go every week and have the red card and go for the rewards.
Where do you usually shop?
For what? Depends on what I'm shopping for.
Okay, well, I think people don't. I know people shop for food at Target, but I don't think that's mostly what they shop for. I think they mostly shop for house items, like candles or cleaners or stuff like that, or kitchen supplies or stuff like that. So where do you go for that?
Well, for the most part, if you buy quality household items, you still have them 10, 15, 20 years later, so those don't need to be replaced as constantly as everybody seems to.
Well, if there's anything you should know about Arthur, he could really make some things last. I remember one of the things you were very keen on showing me is, how much dish soap you really need to use in contrast of what people typically use, right? And it's almost like a flex for you to show that you can make one bottle last over a year, whereas some people it can barely last a few months.
Well, it's designed to last over a year.
Is it designed though?
It is.
Is it branded that way?
If you read the fine print.
Okay. All right. So, but look, with Target, it was also IKEA and Aldi. So, from Aldi, what I really like is their Atlantic salmon. Big fan of the Atlantic salmon. Really good. I haven't had it anywhere else. So, by default, because I haven't had it anywhere else, it automatically jumps to the top of my ranks list with no one else competing with it. But
is it wild or farm raised?
I want to say farm raised.
Okay.
And I could get back to you on that, but I want to say farm raised. And that was not one of the items. That was not one of the items that went down. But, here we are. Here we go with that. So, that covers so IKEA. I don't know specifically what in IKEA. IKEA is all furnitures and stuff. So I'm hoping that the college students are able to take advantage of that going into. I guess the semester just ended, right? The semester just ended, so I don't know how much advantage they're really going to be able to take, of that. Because you think IKEA, you think pretty much like college dorm rooms and stuff like that for furniture. I think that might be their biggest base. No.
It's inexpensive furniture you put together yourself, so it's more than just college kids. But yeah, now's a good time. If you graduate from college, you're getting your own apartment, you're going to be out on your own. You need to furnish the place.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so that covers price raises with a price decrease. Now let's hop over to, there was this fine, let's jump into tech a little bit. We have a few tech articles here, including NVIDIA reports a 262% jump in sales and signals AI boom continuing. What are your thoughts on this? NVIDIA is the biggest, I believe, chip manufacturing company in the world.
Well, that's the interesting part with this whole AI is it is definitely changing the world, but who it's changing the world for are the people that would have been implementing it, that helped create it, which, it's a great idea to get the artificial intelligence happening, but it's also going to completely revolutionize your business first, and then it's going to spill over into the other industries.
So I guess I'll start with, before we even go further into that, I'll start by asking, do you utilize AI at all?
I have not, but I've noticed that you go and do a Google search, first thing that comes up is AI response. So it's slowly creeping into everything.
Yeah, and do you enjoy it or no? Because when you typically Google like a how-to or whatever the case, or just based information on something, you'll find just articles or blog posts or whatever the case about it. But now it's like Google gives you that AI summary that you're referring to. Do you enjoy that, or are you not a fan of it?
I've found that in some cases it's not complete. There's a little bit of misinformation in there, so it's still in its infancy stages.
I think we should get you a shirt that says, I think we should make this part of the merchandise for the podcast, because you claim a lot of misinformation with a lot of things. So, because I know even there's some big podcasts that you're a big fan of that you claim spreads a lot of misinformation, but what's up with that, man? You're always claiming misinformation with so many things.
Because so much misinformation is being spewed out there. I don't enjoy sitting through something and then have to fact check every single thing that comes out of someone's mouth. No, don't try to confuse and mislead people.
Okay.
You're not helping anyone.
That's fair. That's fair. But with that big jump in sales with NVIDIA, they also announced a 10-to-1 stock split.
Okay. And
how about that?
And they're expecting their stock to continue to surge as a result of this.
How about that? And I think they've had a crazy increase over the year. I mean, let's look at just a quick search of NVIDIA stock in the past year to date. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see. Scrolling into year to date, they've had an 115% increase year to date. They started the year at $481 a share, rounding down, and now they're currently sitting at $1,037. Call it $38. Huge increase. Do you think this is going to be continued going at the rate of this?
Maybe for a little bit longer, but obviously it's not nothing is sustainable growing at that rate.
Do you think AI is here to stay?
AI is definitely here to stay.
Do you fear what AI could become, or do you see more good coming from it?
Well, like everything, there will be a lot of good that comes out of it at the beginning, and then eventually it's going to be used for other purposes that it wasn't the intention for, and then we'll have a problem that we'll have to address.
Do you fear we will one day get an iRobot experience? I don't know if you've ever seen the film iRobot Will Smith. Okay, well, iRobot Will Smith is what a lot of people are referring to, because that's what it's called, right? iRobot? iRobot?
I don't know.
Have you seen it? Gee, am I in the middle of generations here? Yeah, but iRobot is a movie that gets referenced a lot with all this AI stuff happening, where everything's happening so quick. And people, a lot of the dystopia movies are being referenced a lot. And people just, some people get excited about it, some people, fear it. But I guess that's just part of it when something new comes into play in the world. But with that, jumping into more tech, we have OpenAI. So OpenAI releases newest version of ChatGPT, which is named ChatGPT version 4o. O stands for Omni. I don't know necessarily what they mean by that, but they are, with their new update, now it can handle 50 different languages with improved speed and quality, is what they say. Now, personally, I do use ChatGPT. I am actually a paid member. I pay $20 a month for ChatGPT, and I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the things you could do with it is amazing. I've seen some of the videos that have came out recently when they just announced 4.0, and things like, so the financial analyst position that a lot of companies are dependent on, right? It's literally one of the prompts that you could do is you insert an entire spreadsheet, and then yes, you could address the security concerns with that, with sensitive information. But you attach a spreadsheet of financial report, and then you could request it to do a deep technical analysis or statistical analysis, and then show illustrations and charts with it, and it literally gives you like a very well put together, visually, pleasing charts, and like different kinds of charts, just signaling different things. One of the benefits I've seen with it. Now, the other thing with the ChatGPT voice feature, where you could talk to it, now it's almost like a live back and forth conversation. So I could be like, I turn on ChatGPT on my phone, and then I turn on the camera with it, and I say, oh, hey, Chad. I'm like, I've currently got this going on, and then I'll show, and then right now I have the NVIDIA market summary stock price pulled up right now. I'll be like, hey, what do you think of this? And it immediately will say to you, oh, it looks like you're currently looking at the NVIDIA stock price, or maybe they'll make a comment like, maybe it'll make a comment, oh, and it looks like it's been doing really great, in the year to date horizon. But it's like, boom, it's like responsive, it's even faster. And there was another video when they were sampling all this. You would have thought it was like an Apple. It was like it was exciting as maybe like Apple's 2008 or 2009 and what's it called, product releases, where they were showing two people. It was this lady and this guy. She was speaking, I think, Italian, and he was speaking English, and he was directly, like, as he was like, it asked ChatGPT, it's like, oh, can you translate this for me in Italian, as he said, and it was doing it like live, and they were going back and forth, and there's a better translator than I've seen with Google Translate, Apple's version of Translate, and it's just, in my opinion, amazing.
No, those are all great features, but also keep in mind that the flash crash that we had where the market lost over 1,000 points in under an hour was a result of the computer being pre-programmed and automatic to buy and sell stocks without any human being involved. And the only way we could get ourselves out of that crash is when they actually paused the market for a few seconds to flush through all those automated orders and then got back to normal trading.
Okay, what does that have to do with ChatGPT?
You're talking about AI.
Okay, so yeah, sure. And one of the things it could do too, it could give you because I showed you the stock chart. But one of the things it could do too is analyze. I forget what they call it. It's just do some sort of analysis, a technical analysis or something on like a on a stock price. But another great thing. Do you think companies are going to be more lenient with employees using ChatGPT as a tool?
Maybe as time goes on, that will eventually happen. But at the same point, they're putting heavy preference on candidates that have experience with AI. And that's now becoming a requirement for jobs.
Okay. I mean, I'm a big advocate for AI, but yes, you do have to ask the question because it is humans at the end of the day making these things happen.
Correct.
And you have to question, what's the agenda with this and what are they looking to get out of it? Because I think at least with humans, there's always some level of greed, and you just got to be cautious of that. Even if it's not small, it can't hurt to know. Even if it's not something big, it can't hurt to know. But with that, you don't utilize any Apple products, you are an Apple fan or Apple investor.
That's correct. I do. Nope, I do not use any Apple products.
Yeah, you don't use an Apple product. You don't use any Apple products, but yet, you're a fan of the company.
Stock's been very good to me.
Yeah. Yeah, look at this guy over here. So, with that, OpenAI is going to collaborate with Apple to integrate their systems into Apple's internal operating system, aka iOS, I believe coming in September in iOS 18. So you know how the Siri, something when I started using ChatGPT, I've been using ChatGPT for a little bit over a year now. When I started using it, I always kept thinking to myself, it's like, man, I wish instead of Siri, their voice feature, they would have like ChatGPT's like version of that, but like in their system. And now this is happening. So I'm very excited about it. You worry about AI, but now this is probably going to benefit you more from an investor standpoint. So, what do you think about that? You have to kind of
I think it's time to buy more Apple stock.
And so you become less worried, the more it's, it fills the pockets, right? Did you ever see any results from the Vision Pros when it came out on the stock price?
I don't recall.
You know the Vision Pros, right? The Vision Pros, the ones that you put over your eyes that Apple came out with?
They just recently came out with.
Yeah. Which it had a good start, but then what's it called? I feel like it kind of died off. It died off because I think a lot of people were returning. Well, for one, it was a really expensive product. I think the ticket price for it was like $3,500 for the headset, and people started reporting a lot of like side effects with their consumption of it. And I think part of it was that, there's virtual reality and there's augmented reality. Virtual reality is, you put it on and it gives you a whole different like world around you. And then augmented reality is almost like a mixed reality, right? Where you can still see what's in front of you, but there's, what's it called, virtual aspects to it. Like, for example, like right now, what we're seeing is the laptop and everything. We're seeing what we're seeing with our own bare eyes. But like if we had the Vision Pros on, we could like project a big screen in front of us kind of thing, while we still see everything around us. And I think that because people were heavily using it for augmented reality reasons, they stayed on it for prolonged periods of time. As a result, when you have a screen to you like that close for that long, I think it's kind of a given. But with those news of Apple and OpenAI, I'm looking at the 5-day chart, and I'm not really seeing anything here. I'm seeing in the 5 days, in a 5-day time frame, they've had a negative 1.9% drop. In the past month, they're up 10.57. So I guess at least they're still net positive. And year to date, it's not as it's not as attractive. It's not even up a full percent. It's just 0.67%. So maybe for your sake, anybody else that's, because I think Apple is in the S&P, right?
Yes.
Yes. For anyone that's in the S&P or directly investing in Apple, for all my retail investors, those news help it out. What I did see, not to keep praising OpenAI, but what I did see with them was that there's this company called the Nothing Company. The Nothing Company is they develop what's called the Nothing Phone. And there's really nothing crazy about it, ironically enough, but it's just like it has a very exposed, back, and it has like very different features from a regular Android and an iPhone. And one of the other accessories that they have is the Nothing headphone. And in the Nothing headphone, they also collaborated with OpenAI to integrate their voice feature on their headphone. And there's no other headphone in the market that currently does that. So I think that's very exciting, because think about it, like, how back in the days when people used to walk around with a Bluetooth piece or whatever the case is like that, like imagine if you're walking around and
People still do.
Yeah, people still do it, but not to the extent of like before. But if you could just have ChatGPT on your ear at all times, like whenever you have like wondering something real quick, I think that's a pretty cool gadget. As long as it's not making people lazy just to be curious and find out themselves. But yeah, that's the news with OpenAI. I believe you could argue this is a little bit more tech too, but we have the Comcast news too. Would you consider that tech? You would consider that more...
Not necessarily. No.
What would you put that under? The umbrella of entertainment? Entertainment. So Comcast to partner with Netflix, Apple TV on streaming bundle. Literally, less than a month ago, we were talking about...
And themselves, they're also offering Prime. Or, no, Peacock. They're also offering...
Peacock?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, Comcast is Peacock.
Yeah. Yes, and they were offering Peacock for free to all their subscribers, and they took it away.
Really?
They did.
Oh, wow.
And they made you pay for it.
Oh, snap. Well, there you go. I mean...
So obviously that model didn't work. So now they're realizing that, cable is a dying business. People don't want to spend that type of money on...
We were literally talking about this
anymore.
Not even a month ago where it's like we're going back to the old times, but now digitally.
Yeah.
Right, digitally. So what's the saying? What's the saying? If you can't beat them,
join them.
there you go. So Comcast decided to team up with Netflix and Apple TV, and I think they're going to price their bundle at $15 a month. Do you think that's a good price for what they're offering?
3 streaming services for $15, $5 a streaming service. I think that's a pretty good bargain.
I would agree. Especially, I think like the regular Netflix now. I think we said it's like around $11, $12, and I think that's for like one device, one account.
But that's the base level that has commercials.
So I mean,
that's what they're.
Let's look at it real quick and like live time. So plans. So standard with ads is $6.99.
Okay.
Standard is $15.49, which gives you access to every Netflix title. At the $6.99, you're even limited. I did not know this. That you're limited on content because some of them have licensing restrictions. I did not know that. There's that. But yeah, $15.49 is the standard. And what's the other one? Apple TV. What is the Apple TV prices? Subscription prices. Let's see that subscription price. Let's see. You're paying $9.99. Okay, so you have $9.99, $15.49. So you're spending around $26 to $27 just on those two things alone.
No, it's the $6.99. Netflix is the base
$6.99.
It's the one.
Is the base one?
It's the one with commercials.
Okay, so you're getting the $6.99, and then the $9.99, and then you're also getting Comcast. And I wonder what Comcast offers regularly.
Peacock.
Is it Peacock?
You're getting Peacock.
Okay, so it's Peacock, and Peacock goes for what? I think it's only a couple bucks now. Peacock subscription price. Let's see that. No, Peacock Premium costs $5.99 per month. So you're getting $5.99, $6.99, and $15 So you're getting like almost like a 13 package deal for half of that. I would say that's worth it. Do you think that are the other ones still even a thing, like Dish Network and like
they're still out there?
Time Warner. Do you think there's something that they would consider doing in the future?
I think that's the direction we're headed. Cable kept raising their prices to be to an unsustainable level, so then this allowed the app services to come in and do their own sub-channel, and as a result, now we have too many of these channels, but why would you want to pay for cable when you can get everything for cheaper by subscribing to different platforms?
I still don't have a single platform. So...
Yes, you do.
What? What do I have?
You have Amazon Prime.
Shit, I do. Yeah. Yeah, I have Amazon Prime, so there's that. But I don't think on that topic, I don't think I would ever imagine Amazon Prime teaming up with anybody.
They don't need to.
Right, for that exact reason. I don't think they need to. So there's that. So now, people, you have that to look forward to in case you're missing your old Peacock or not. I mean, I've seen only a couple of things. I think Peacock started as free. And then it became...
It was part of the package with Comcast.
Yeah, and then it became like a price thing.
Yep.
Because I remember one of our previous guests here, Ray Cook, I think it was on Peacock, no? Peacock, where they had his show? Yeah, it was on Peacock with Going for Broke. I think it was Peacock.
I'm not sure.
Let me see. Peacock, Going from Broke. For those that don't know, Going from Broke is a show that essentially where they go over all your financials Going broke. Everybody in this economy. And then when they go through your financials, oh no, it's Crackle. That's Crackle. Okay, Crackle. Hey, I haven't heard anything from Crackle, if I'm being honest with you.
It's just one of the free services.
Yeah. Hey, don't talk down on them. So, okay, there's that. So, yeah, looking forward to that, I guess. I know a friend that has it, so and I could benefit off of that. So, anyways, what do we want to move into next? We covered entertainment there a little bit. I don't think we have anything else in entertainment. But I guess as we're kind of in the money topic of things here, do you want to touch on what a lot of people are hurt of right now? Like what a lot of people are very, very emotional about right now. About a very 5-star fine, is some could consider a 5-star luxurious
I didn't know they had a
dining experience with their supposed delicious biscuits that I don't remember ever trying. Probably went there once, but good old Red Lobster. Even Beyonce, I think, had a famous line of taking whoever to Red Lobster. People just going about that nonstop. But Red Lobster files for bankruptcy. Now, I have little to no experience with Red Lobster. What are your thoughts on this happening?
Well, it sounds like after their promotion that they offered for an entire year and lost $11 million on the all-you-can-eat shrimp, it's now affecting them, so they have to figure out a way to stay afloat. Now, what I don't understand is if you knew this promotion wasn't working, why you kept it going for an entire year. Why didn't you end it a lot sooner? But that's the situation they're in.
And the type of bankruptcy, because it's different forms of bankruptcies that you can file, is specifically Chapter 11.
So it's reorganization.
Exactly. So by definition, is reorganization process that allows a debtor? Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Debtor? Whatever, debtor to restruct their business affairs, debts, and assets without liquidating all assets. So Chapter 11 for Red Lobster. Maybe they'll reorganize their biscuits in the future. So there's that good old Red Lobster. I know I think someone in my family actually does an annual. Well, I'm not included, but but it's like an annual Red Lobster dinner. So I'm curious to get their thoughts on it. I have to. I'll just shoot them a message like, "Hey, look, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for your loss." They'll be like, "What the fuck are you talking
Sounds
about?"
like the one in North Wilmington's still going to be around.
Is it?
It does not sound like that one's closing.
So it's not like nationwide.
It is I believe it's a nationwide chain, but they're
No, I mean like every single store is now. Because okay, so here's the thing.
the parent company is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and restructure.
But everybody's still in service.
They are shutting. Everyone could be still in service, but they are specifically choosing to close certain locations.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
They're going to try to. Part of this reorganization is going to close the locations that aren't working.
Yeah. So give me your honest opinion, Red Lobster. Would you recommend 10 out of 10 recommend? Or
I can't remember the last time I was there.
so is that like not good? Because you rave about a lot of the steakhouses in Delaware, but you don't rave about you don't have
but
any
Red Lobster's a chain restaurant. And I tried to patronize the mom and pop stores.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
The
So
box ones.
Red Lobster consumers, I'm so sorry for your loss. My condolences. So
Well, at least the good news is you got over the whole Bertucci's closing. The bread that you really liked.
I didn't know that closed.
I'm sorry to tell you.
Wait, what?
They're gone. They closed overnight. They shut down every location overnight. Months
Shut
ago.
the hell up!
You can't get that bread anymore. It's gone.
I did not know that.
I know. You go
What
there.
happened?
They financially weren't making it, so they shut down.
I'm not seeing anything.
Well, it's gone.
Wow. I'm seeing one Reddit post. So
I know, you used to go there and they bring out like 2 or 3 rolls and you'd ask them, can you go back to the kitchen and bring me like 8 more?
that thing was
Just pretend there's 8 of me, and they would honor your request and bring you the great big basket of rolls.
Was it the roll that made it good, or was it the oil?
Oh, you were impressed with the bread.
Was it? I forget which one it was. It was just,
You were impressed with the bread to the point that you would order pizza and wanted to confirm that they were also going to send dinner rolls with your pizza.
Oh my god. Heck, man. Damn, it's a sad day, man. It's a sad day. It's a sad day, man. You couldn't like waited a day to tell me that, dude. I've had a long day as it is.
I thought you knew that by now. This was months ago.
Oh man.
May have been a year by now.
You suck, dude. You suck. Alright. Let's go into a little bit more serious topics, alright?
Okay.
Because, they are relevant and important and we should cover them. Let's take it from the top on the first page. Settlers vandalized humanitarian aid to Gaza in the presence of Israel authorities. Did you hear about this?
I did.
Okay, so what essentially happened is Israeli settlers attacked a convoy of 98 trucks carrying humanitarian aid from Jordan to Gaza, which was valued a little bit over $1 million in damages. What is your take on this situation?
I think it's a shame. This isn't helping anybody. This is humanitarian aid that's being purposely targeted to stop from getting to the people that need it the most. And this isn't going to end anything. It's just going to prolong everything.
So a step in the wrong direction.
A big step in the wrong direction.
Okay. So what would you do if you were in charge of calling the shots here, and then you get intel feedback saying, hey, those things that we just sent over to to Gaza, they all just got wrecked. What would you do from there if you were the head honcho here?
I think it's a matter of getting all of the parties that are trying to be in charge together to have a big conversation about, humanitarian aid's coming to try to help people as you try to figure out your differences, and in the meantime, you're hurting more people instead of even trying to get this resolved.
Okay, yeah, no, it's called humanitarian aid for a reason.
Yeah.
So there's that topic. And moving on, also another big headline in the news recently is that Iran's President Ibrahim passed after a helicopter crash due to quote unquote, bad weather. So it headlined in a lot of places, and a lot of people feared that it was going to cause a lot of commotion across nations. And the U.S. already came out and said that they had no part in it. And with the president of Iran was also the foreign minister and 6 other passengers and the crew team. So I'm not sure if you heard about this. Do you have any on that?
I did, and the interesting part with Iran is they do have a vice president, so the vice president is stepping forward to be in charge of the show, but in the fine print, because the president has vacated office suddenly, they now have to have a new election. So they're not even waiting for an election term to come up, they're going to host an election within the next couple of months. And now you're doing something spur of the moment, it's going to be extremely costly, and the turnout to this is going to be really low. So it's the downside.
Are you saying there was some corruption in here?
No, it's just the downside to how their government's set up. In our government, if something happens to the president, the vice president steps in and finishes the term. Our elections are set. You can go as far into the future as you want, and you know exactly which years are going to be election years. Mm-hmm. In Iran, the president's gone. They will hold elections within 2 months. So, if something happens to the next president, they're back in the same situation. So they could be perpetually holding elections every time something happens to the president.
Okay, well, there you go.
In our country, we're only holding elections once every 4 years, regardless of what happens. We have a line of succession to keep running through until next round of elections comes up.
Maybe, do you think Iran should take some notes?
It would probably be prudent to do so.
There's that. Shame nevertheless to die from a helicopter crash. But in other world news or nationwide news in the U.S. is that second headline here: Biden administration announces. You got to take a deep breath for this one, don't you? So, Biden administration announces additional $7.7 billion in student debt relief. Dude, I feel like I sound like a broken record at this point with this topic. So, I'll let you start us off with this one. Pros, cons, what's next?
It depends upon how it's being handled. I understand that the student debt has gotten to be, essentially, it's a national crisis, being at $1.7 something trillion. So 7.7 billion is nothing in compared to the bigger picture here. But at the same point, how did we get into the situation where student debt was able to get so high? And yes, we need to do something to correct it. But I don't know if just going around and constantly forgiving the debt for everybody is exactly the right direction. I understand there are some points that, you get a phenomenal college degree and you go into the public service. Maybe that does need to be considered as part of the package, is that over time it waives or pays for some of your student debt. But at the end of the day, you also did make a choice to take out that much debt, and you are responsible for it. So where does the balance lie?
Well, dude, my thing is always the same, right? Because, I look at what the effects of printing money as we have. I mean, I think we printed the most amount of money in the past 4 years than we have in probably in the past 100 years.
We just kept throwing money at every citizen in the United States. That didn't help.
Yeah, and it's just like, my thing is we're seeing the results of these things, and it doesn't even have to be the student debt situation. As we talked about earlier, all the prices of everything's going up, and from a basic economic standpoint, when things get more expensive, who controls the economy here? Like the business owners, right? The business owners are the ones who charge for their prices, the products or services, and the things that essentially keep the economy flowing in cycles. Essentially the consumer pays a price for these things because, they're like, oh, we're going to impose a tax or price increase on owners or whatever the case is. If you're the business owner, you just think, all right, fine, and I'll just pass it down to the consumer. Now I just charge more prices.
Right.
So, I'm just, especially when it comes to making a financial commitment, is I understand that you're 17, 18 when you're about to go into college. And I think that they're like, okay, with like, all right, we're going to allow you access to this much money, and, boom, there you go. Being bada boom, you sign the papers, and then boom, now you're all of a sudden in debt. Right. And then you don't really think about that until you're like outside of college. Right. Because typically it's being handled by a parent, or if it is handled by the student, they don't really necessarily understand the gravity of it. And so I have a big problem with that. And especially because you get handed hundreds of thousands of dollars for student debt, but you go to a bank and you present them a great business model for something that can make money. And then, no, they're like, no, you're 17, 18. Like, what do you know? Like, how can we do this? So, I mean...
You can't buy a house in this country unless you can prove that you're making 3 times what the mortgage payment's going to be each month. But here you are going to college with absolutely no game plan in the future of how you're going to pay back the bank the money, but they're handing you the money hand over fist.
It just makes no sense. And especially because who at the end of the day, who is like, you look at the funding of these colleges, and you'll be surprised where a lot of the top, institutions, you look at their fundings, a lot of their funding is not from tuition. It's a small fraction.
Yep.
A big portion of their funding comes from donations. Right? Donations or I think the word is they call it endowments or whatever the case is.
Endowments.
And it makes you think, it's like, okay, as we were talking about earlier, it's like, if power is influence, and if money is power and power is influence, where is the influence really taking place? Right? And Patrick David made a great example of this. I saw a video of him the other day, and he made the example of, say you're like the president or like the head, whatever the case, of the school. I guess the president would be it. And you get 2 calls, right? One is your top student. You're the top student of the school, phenomenal GPA, all these scholarships, whatever the case. You're on the phone. You're on the line. And the assistant, gets in touch with the president. It's like, hey, so Mr. President, on line 1 you have your best student in the whole school here. Oh, but in line 2 you have a head of a hedge fund that holds however many $1 trillion in assets, and they're actually our biggest donor. who do you think? Let me ask you the question: who do you think the president is gonna pick up the call from?
Hedge fund.
Why? Why is that? Why not the student? It's like the top one in the school.
Schools are a business. They're not. It's their second objective is providing an education. Their first objective is making money.
Was it always that way?
No,
Do you think that that's where the big problem right now lies with education?
that's what it's become. It's become a business, and your objective was supposed to be educating people, and now your objective is making money.
What does this look like? What do you think this looks like 10 years from now?
There's going to be a complete reversal on this because there's a massive push of not going to university anymore, going to college anymore. It's the rates that we've gotten people to go to college is just phenomenal, and the number of people that are graduating with degrees that they are either worthless or that they're never going to use is ridiculous.
Yeah, so yeah, I always have a little bone to pick with institutions, personally and not personal. But we don't have to get into that. Okay, so let's take the. Oh, actually, we have one more headline before we get into a little bit more, easy stuff.
Okay.
Let's go into the first page here. Big win from California, by the way. California is phenomenal. A lot of things. Gavin Newsom, phenomenal governor. Always doing right by its people, by its economy. California is what number 5 in GDP in the world, I think is what it is.
I think so.
We got this crazy headline. Long Beach declares public health emergency after deadly tuberculosis outbreak. So what we found out is that city officials declared a public health emergency a couple weeks ago after tuberculosis outbreak left one person dead and 9 others hospitalized. Now, they also said that the outbreak stemmed from a group of people who stayed together at a Long Beach hotel room. So there's that. But thoughts on this? Did you hear about this?
I did, and this is a viral disease, so it's something you get by breathing it in, so it's not easy to stop unless you keep everybody isolated.
I just think this is one of the other great accolades of going to California. I'm a big fan of California. If I haven't made it obvious in the past 4 years, I mean, since pandemic, all I've been talking about is California. But yeah, did you want to go to Long Beach anytime soon?
Not particularly.
That's a shame. But let's ease off the foot of the gas a little bit here. Well, some would argue differently. Let's go into the second page here. P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Diddy, whatever he goes by these days. Hotel footage leaked. This headline has been going all over the place. Less than a week ago, footage came out after the raid of P. Diddy's house in back in March. Came out hotel footage of him essentially beating up Cassie Aventura, who he was emotionally involved with, who was also signed under his label. Thing that happened back in March of 2016, actually, at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City area of Los Angeles. It came out after the raid, when his house got raided, and apparently he had paid $50,000 to the hotel to never release the footage or to take the footage from the computers. So that is happening. A lot of things are happening with P. Diddy right now. I don't know if you've heard much about it, but, there's a lot of allegations around him about they're calling him the Epstein of hip-hop. So, with his parties that he throws on and the things that go on there and how he supposedly has cameras in every single room in the case of, to leverage it against you. But what are your thoughts on this?
Well, if he has cameras in every single room, the FBI is going to have a field day with what they've confiscated from his house.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're not. This is more pop news. I know you're not much, into this department, but I know one of the things you brought up to me was that, why store it in the house?
If you went to all that trouble to try to cover it up, why did you not destroy it? Why did you keep it around?
And I mean, I don't know. Like, my thing with Diddy, it's a shame because I used to like Diddy, but now it's like it's kind of like anything he does because you just hear all the things. There's this video that came out with him. I think it was like probably a month ago, where he bumped into Justin Bieber, right? And Justin Bieber, if you don't know, you know Justin Bieber, right? Justin Bieber, popular singer since he was a kid, found it on YouTube, blew up. I was older, married to Haley Bieber. What's it called? Bumped into him, and when they, greeted each other, said hi to each other, a little brotherly hug. It almost seemed like P Diddy was like tapping him for a while. He was like, "Yeah, my hug," and he was like, "Yeah, what's up, man? What's up, man?" He was like doing all that. So P Diddy's walking on eggshells. He came out with an apology video. Essentially saying, I'm sorry. I don't expect you to forgive me. I sought out help, but the people are not budging. So,
Well, didn't he come out stating, adamantly denying everything? And now there's video proof of everything he just said is a lie, so you gotta come out with an apology now. You gotta say something.
Well, Cassie had sued him, actually, before the footage came out. And I think it was like a few months ago, or earlier in the year, and the case got settled literally within a day of becoming public. I think it was like a $30 million settlement. $30 million. So there was that with Diddy. And I think we're up to now our last headline of today's episode. We're really gonna ease, the foot off the gas. And we're gonna go into an article that came out, or study conducted by Remote, a global HR platform, stating the best countries for work-life balance, which they took into consideration in this: paid maternity leave, payment rates, statutory annual leave, minimum statutory sick pay percentage, minimum wage, healthcare system, and LGQ. I always mess that up. Yeah, LGBTQ plus inclusivity. However it goes. Forgive me. But let's work on this backwards. At number 10, we have Brazil. At number 9, we have Canada. At number 8, we have the UK. Number 7, we have the Netherlands. At number 6, Norway. 5, Denmark. 4, Australia. 3, France. 2, Spain, and 1, New Zealand. Now, you've been to New Zealand.
That's the only place on the list I've been.
What? Coincidentally. So why do you think New Zealand is on top of the list?
They value their time off. There's a minimum requirement of 4 weeks of vacation time for every full-time employee, and even as a part-time employee, you also get paid vacation time.
Now, you told me that New Zealand, was that the place where you did bungee cord jumping for the first time ever?
The only time ever.
The only time ever. How did that happen again?
Well, if you're going to bungee jump, you might as well bungee jump in the place it was invented, so off of the original bridge in New Zealand.
How was that experience? Yeah?
A little scary at first.
Yeah? Did you get a rush out of it afterwards, though?
You definitely got a rush out of it.
Yeah? I know, I could almost feel it, like, coming out of you. It's like you're almost back in New Zealand. Holy crap. Would you do it again?
I'd consider it.
You consider it. I
would only do it in New Zealand, though. I wouldn't do it in the United States.
Oh, you wouldn't do it in the United States. Now, I remember you told me it was because, like, to get Arthur to think of such a measure, I mean, come on. You think you'd have to, like, be, like, I don't know how many vodka sodas. And but you told me
you were completely sober.
Okay, well, there's that. I don't know what the hell you were on. The air must be different over there. But you were with a friend also that was, you're typically to yourself. You're more, reserved. But I think you had a friend who is more like out there.
One of my buddies decided to take a break from the United States and move to New Zealand for a year.
Okay.
So I went out to see him, and his brother had also decided to take a smaller break and move to New Zealand for 3 months. So I went to go see the two of them, and as a result, the conversation came up about going to Queenstown and bungee jumping. So
Now, I'm not sure if I recall this correctly from the time you told me the story the first time. Did you tell me that you guys didn't even have a book place?
No, we got off the bus and went straight to bungee jumping.
Oh my jeez. Things you would never expect on Arthur these days. You need to bring back that Arthur. I think, part of having you on the podcast is a little bit of that. But, yeah, well, would you go back to New Zealand anytime soon?
Oh, sure, why not?
All right. I'll be that guy that gets into bungee jumping. I mean, I'll record it. I won't do it, but I'm okay on that. I still got a lot of things I want to take care of on this earth before I go anywhere else.
I do have it on DVD.
Do you really?
I do.
Not VHS.
Yes, somebody was sitting with a camcorder.
Okay, so, we got to do... Now we just need to find a DVD player. That's a challenge. No, I think you might be able to get a VHS player maybe easier than a DVD player just because it's more vintage. A lot of the kids like the vintage stuff. But, maybe we could replay that video someday.
I'm going to say it's on DVD. You can get a VHS player, but it's not going to play it.
All right. But, Arthur, that is all the topics. We covered 15 topics, actually. That was, we've been an hour into it. Thank you so much once again for being a part of the show. As the co-host, I think nothing but the best of you. And do you have anything else before we let the audience go?
Happy Memorial Day weekend.
Happy Memorial Day weekend. Yes, that is true. Not sure if we're gonna be releasing the episode this Monday or Tuesday. I'm thinking Tuesday makes more sense because everybody's gonna be too busy having partying on Monday. So
Is that what you're up to on Monday?
Well, no, I just think about the average American when these things happen. So I got to think about the people. Behind the screens. So thank you again, Arthur. Thank you, Jack, for always taking care of us behind the scenes. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on the notification bell so we could continue providing you with the latest news around the world and the U.S., and everything else in between. So, till then, bye-bye. Yeah, no, I said the world, U.S., and everything.
Everything between
Fuck no.
space.
Space. Yeah, you say that, but...
I told you I had a...